Hello, my darling, and welcome to day 44 of 100 Days of Self-Love. Today, we're talking all about love letters, but we're not talking about love letters to other people. We're talking about love letters to yourself. Writing yourself a love letter is a powerful practice that can help you improve your self-love in several ways. First and foremost, it helps you to recognize and appreciate your strengths. When you take time to write a love letter to yourself, you are forced to reflect on your qualities and what you love about yourself. This practice can help you become more aware of your strengths and abilities and helps you to focus on your positive qualities instead of your flaws. Just a caveat to that as well is I would always say when you're writing yourself a love letter, write it when you're here, like everything's going well, rather than here, because when you're in that state, when you're in an abundant state where everything seems to be going well, and everything you touch turns to gold, there aren't any big problems in your life, you're on a roll with your career, that kind of mood. Not everything's perfect, because it'll never be perfect, but you're just in a happy place right now. Write the love letter to yourself when you're up there, because if you write it when you're feeling low, you won't necessarily be able to understand or recall all of your strengths and all of your qualities at that point. Okay, so it's kind of like write it when you feel good, and use it when you're feeling a bit meh about yourself. Those days when you wake up and you think, I can't do this day's going to beat me, I'm never going to be able to get through it, like it's just impossible. Those are the days when you read the letter and you write it when things are just good. All right, so that's number one. It helps you recognize and appreciate your own strengths. Number two, it helps you to cultivate self-compassion. By writing a love letter to yourself, you're practicing self-compassion. This means that you're treating yourself with kindness, understanding, and acceptance, as you would treat a close friend, your best girlfriend, as you treat one of your kids, somebody that you absolutely love and adore and you want the best for them. That's how you talk to yourself when you're being compassionate. So cultivating self-compassion can help you develop a more positive self-image and feel more confident and resilient. Our image of ourselves is very, very important. I'm not talking about image like what clothes do you wear, how do you do your makeup. I'm talking about images, the space you fill in the world, the space you take up, how you want other people to see. You can't control how they see you. Like I always giggle, and it probably isn't that funny, but I always giggle because when I was at school, I was clever. I did well academically, but I used to talk all the time, and on all my school reports it would say, Kate will never earn a living from talking. Lol, who's laughing now, baby? But yeah. So it's how you see yourself, and I always call it standing in your sacred ground. So you don't shrink back, you don't puff up, but you stand and you're aware of who you are, and you're aware of, again, the space you take up. Okay, and when we're being compassionate to ourselves, and we're looking at ourselves without being critical, without being judgmental, that's a really important place to be, because then we kind of craft and assimilate this kind of truer picture of our strengths and our character, and how do people see us and who needs us, and not in a self-deprecating kind of like servitude type of way, but just in the kind of like, we are important to people, and this is why, these are our strengths, this is what we do, this is the space that we take. Okay, so that's number two. It also helps you to reframe the negative self-talk, what I call shit FM, that radio station that plays crap to you in your head all the time. Many people struggle with shit FM. It's damaging to our self-esteem. It's damaging to our self-love. And when you write yourself a love letter to yourself, you're helping to replace that negative self-talk with a more positive self-talk. This can help you to reframe your thoughts. If you read it, in psychology, we call it the level of processing model, where you process things again and again. So, thinking it is one thing, writing is another thing, reading is another thing. You could then even almost create a vision board or a mood board about yourself and how you see yourself. And I know it sounds woo-woo, bear with. But it's really important to see the true version of yourself, not the negative version, not the version of you that feels scared in the night, because a lot, that is a thing. But the version of you that wakes up on a Monday morning and goes and takes on the whole day. So it really helps you to craft this more positive talk, this more positive being. And as I said, this can help you to reframe your thoughts and become more supportive and encouraging towards yourself. Okay, the last point I want to make about a love letter is it helps you deepen your connection to yourself. Writing a love letter to yourself is an intimate act, and it can help you deepen your connection to yourself when you take the time to reflect on your qualities and express love and appreciation towards yourself, because we should be grateful for ourselves too. I guarantee you've got 100% success record of getting through everything that life has thrown at you so far. And I know that because you're here. So nothing in life has beaten you yet, has it? You have succeeded. You have got through. You've fought. You've been resilient. I was watching a program called on Netflix, The Night Agent. And in the first episode of that, this young lady calls up. She doesn't know who she's calling. Her auntie, I won't spoil it and tell you who they are, but they tell her to call this number. And she calls this number, and there's an intruder that comes into the house. And the agent on the other end of the phone says, I want you to fight. I want you to fight with everything that you have. And sometimes that's what we need to do, but not in an aggressive manner, not in an angry place, but just do the things that we need to do and cheer ourselves on. Okay, it's really, really important to make ourselves know that we have our own backs almost, and that nothing's going to beat you, because it hasn't. Okay, it hasn't yet. Okay, and the last point is it can help you to deepen a connection with yourself. So writing a love letter to you, as I said, is an intimate act. When you take time to reflect on your qualities and express love and appreciation towards yourself, you are deepening and strengthening the relationship with yourself. I know that sounds a bit odd, but it's very true. You're giving yourself that intimacy and that compassion. Do you know when you back in the day when people used to write you cards or love letters, for internet? I feel like I'm like 100 years old and I'm only 50 or 49. But that was a very intimate way of expressing ourselves to other people, was through the form of letter. And this is what I'm talking about with yourself. It's building that relationship with yourself, letting yourself learn to trust you. And I know a lot of this is going, what? But when we keep breaking promises to ourselves, when we beat ourselves up, when we're nasty to ourselves, we break the trust in ourselves. We break that connection with ourselves, because we can't rely on ourselves to be kind. We can't rely on ourselves to have our own back. And we recognize that at some kind of visceral level, we recognize that we can't trust ourselves. So actually, by writing a letter to yourself and being compassionate and being kind and being your own cheering squad, you start to mend that relationship. You start to strengthen that bond that you have with yourself. And this leads to greater self-awareness, self-acceptance, and self-love. So overall, writing a love letter can be a very powerful tool for improving self-love. By focusing on your strengths, cultivating self-compassion, reframing negative self-talk, and deepening your connection to yourself, you can build a stronger sense of self-love and self-worth. I hope that helps. This was day 44 of 100 Days of Self-Love Challenge. If you want to join in with another challenge we've got going on, which is there's a lot of interaction with it. We have a group, and you get written challenges every day, and you respond to them, and there's a whole community of women all cheering and supporting for you, like I've just been discussing. I have a Feed Your Fairy challenge coming up. I'll put the link below. I'd love to see you there with us. It's completely free. It's 5 days, and it just does the thing. It makes you feel like you can love and care for yourself more. Hope to see you there. Take care, my darlings, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.